Good morning, everybody. Shift your mindset here with a new episode, and today's episode is Watchtower is keep on letting their followers down. Why? I'm gonna read a paragraph from the latest study edition of the Watchtower, July 2025. No more than ever, we need to focus on our hope. Why? Because we are living in the last days. And we all have problems that are hard to deal with. Of course. Jehovah daily helps us to endure by giving us the guidance, the strength, and support we need. In addition, our Christian hope can sustain us during difficult times. Perhaps you struggle to provide for your family's material needs. Does this mean that you always have to struggle to survive? Absolutely not. Jehovah has promised to give you what you need and much, much more in paradise. Watchtower Study Edition, Article 31. Paragraph 13, if you don't believe me, do your research in your own literature, Jehovah's Witnesses. So, we all have problems, but don't worry, paradise is coming. The carrot and the stick. But what about the problems now? Because it isn't uplifting at all to hear that paradise will solve all your problems. How is it gonna solve all the problems now? It doesn't. But are you hungry? No worries. Jehovah has a all-you-can-eat buffet in paradise. Can't pay your rent at this moment, or are you struggling to pay the rent? No problems. There's a 5-star resort, hotel, house waiting for you in paradise. Because all the Jehovah's Witnesses in the ministry are always pointing to a beautiful house and say, there I'm gonna live in paradise. But hang in there, guys. Keep your head up. Keep on preaching. And don't let this day-to-day life, day-to-day struggle you have now kill your spiritual fight. Good plan, eh? So, in my opinion, Watchtower lost reality with everything nowadays. The only thing they have left in their big head with surprises is that people are keep on living and staying in that religion for one thing, that hope that's called paradise, earthly paradise. If you take away paradise, there is nothing left for a Jehovah's Witness in that religion. Because it's all about that one reward they are going to, they think. So they keep on having problems, they keep on having troubles in their life, they keep on being lonely, they keep on losing people around them who already thought they would see Armageddon and paradise. But the only thing that keeps them going, the free labor, everything in the organization is about paradise. But let's take a good look at their own resource, their own source, the Bible. James 2:15 and 16. That verse cuts to all the fluff there is from the governing body as a hot knife, like a hot knife. 1, What does it say? Suppose a brother or a sister is without clothes and daily food. If one of you says to them, "Go in peace, keep warm and well fed," but does nothing about their physical needs, what good is it? And this verse is exactly what I needed to expose the governing body, because what they are saying is live long and prosper. But James 2:15 exposes them. They say, suppose a brother or a sister, suppose the governing body, says to you, "Go in peace, keep warm and well fed," but does nothing about their physical needs. What good is it? Ouch. Big ouch. Because James here isn't there for empty platitudes or well wishes. He's calling out everybody and anyone who sees a hungry brother or sister and offers nothing but a cheery "God bless you" before that other person goes back to their cozy life. And just as in society, there's a big difference in lives of Jehovah's Witnesses. There are people who have good lives, there are people who are struggling. But this has nothing to do with faith. And that's what I saw in the congregations, all the congregations I went to. I saw it everywhere around me. There were people struggling and they kept on struggling. I even know people who were this close to being homeless and nobody stepped in. Nobody stepped up. Nobody did something about it. Sometimes the only thing they do is give them something to eat. Not giving them money, not helping them with something. And that's what you're supposed to be doing when you are in a community like religion. You preach about love, you preach about loving your neighbor, you preach about unconditional love, everything around it, but you don't take care about the person who is important to you, next to you, and is having the same faith you have. So what the governing body is doing is, we know you're struggling, but hold on, paradise is coming. Until that time, they do nothing. And that's a strange thing, because if you look at the numbers, Canada, for example, had a jaw-dropping 140 million Canadian dollars income. If you have 125,000 around Canadian Jehovah's Witnesses, it's about more than 1,000 Canadian dollars a year per member. Globally, you don't want to know it, but there is said that globally it's $1 billion, multi-billion dollar company. And why? Of course, it's about estate. On paper, you're a non-profit organization. You don't give out, you don't print out enough watchtowers, magazines, books, literature anymore that can keep people warm, because if they shred it and make a fire of it, it doesn't keep them warm for longer than a few minutes. So you have a lot of people struggling. There's a lot going on. People can't pay the rent. People have empty stomachs. And the only thing you say, God bless you and hold on through till paradise. But the generation before me was already thinking that Armageddon and paradise was coming. So you see a lot of people struggling now. But they don't care because they are sitting isolated from the world without anything around them. They sit in a beautiful 5-star resort. They have a sauna, they have sport facilities, they have everything. They have a full-time nurse on the floor, the governing body. So they are not in touch with reality. But they have the means to do everything they can for their own people. And I was looking at something and I thought about this own country. There's a lot of things wrong with this country, but what they did is they were building RDP houses. It's a reconstruction and development program. What is it? The government is aiming to providing affordable housing for South African citizens from disadvantaged communities. What they want is to address the housing problems and improve living conditions for low-income households. That's a government. Why can't the Jehovah's Witnesses do something similar like this? So, the point of James, what we just read, is crystal clear. Faith that doesn't lift a finger to help someone in need is about as useful as a screen door in a submarine. You can call it whatever it is. And the early Christians were a lot different from today's governing body and the Jehovah's Witnesses in general. Why? Because they got that memo from James. They were pooling their resources to make sure no one went hungry or homeless. Acts 2, 44, 45, and 4, 34 and 35 tells us that they sold stuff to cover each other's needs. They were creating like a community that there were no needy persons among them. No one was left to fend from themselves with a pat on the back and promise a better day. No one. They acted, and they acted fast. So they were selling things, they were getting stuff together to help everyone in need. So no one was suffering. So, if the governing body would take this advice, practical from James, what could they do? They could set up a food bank like other religions are doing. They can have maybe a fund, like they have funds for everything, but now a fund for people who are facing eviction from their houses. They could have affordable housing projects. No, instead of that, we are focusing on real estate deals and preaching campaigns. And we are wasting our money on court cases. And the faithful and discreet slave only says, keep your eye on paradise. So it is a crowd pleaser, because who of us who doesn't want to believe in a future where everything and every need is met? As if you are a member of Amazon Prime, everything you want is there for you. And all their meetings, all the literature is always about boosting that one hope that is left, that hasn't occurred yet. So you keep people in that rat race of Jehovah's Witnesses. But you have to keep on preaching, people. Ignore your empty stomach. And while you are preaching, our organization is flourishing. Our wealth is growing. We are flipping kingdom halls left and right. And we keep on saying that paradise is just around the corner. But if James was living in this era, he would start shaking his head. Because what good is it? Faith that doesn't meet physical needs isn't faith. It's just empty, shallow words. And with what the bank account of the Watchtower, they've got no excuse for offering anything less than tangible help, in my opinion. But the Watchtower loves to quote Psalm 145 about Jehovah lifting up the needy. But reminding this, do your critical thinking, do your research. James 2:15 isn't fooling around. And it reminds us that sometimes Jehovah's people need to do the lifting. And not only giving spiritual advice and say, oh, you have to keep on having faith. That's all they said to me also. If I didn't have something, things go wrong, then they say, oh, you have to pray harder. I prayed a lot, but Jehovah was never there for me. He never answered me, and he's not gonna answer anybody of you. It's not about sending up a prayer and then everything is getting fixed. And that is what they're doing nowadays. They're saying, paradise is coming. You'll have an empty stomach, hold on another day. Just keep on praying. Jehovah will take care of you. And you need to preach a little bit more. Maybe you have the wrong focus. You have the wrong ideas in your head. You have to keep on having faith. And they are repeating that to each other. But James 2:15 is very clear. It's all empty words. Sometimes you need to get practical help. If somebody is in need, you have to help them in this physical world. It's not about only being spiritual, it's just about being physical help, giving physical help to people. And don't get me wrong, it's not that Watchtower is a broke organization that wants to do something but can't do it because they don't have the means to do it. They have massive resources. And it's only talk, and that's what's bothering me. It's just echoing words, what good is it? And they have a pile of cash laying around that can be spent in a good way. Set up a program for growing your own food. Start creating a food bank. Start a project about people who can apply if they are in the process of losing their house. If they need something. Of course you have to control it, but you see it, I see it everywhere. They just always, oh, can I send a prayer for you? And then they want to pray with you. No, I don't need a prayer, I need help. And give somebody the help they need. And James is clear. If you know a brother or a sister is in help and you don't do anything about it, physical need of their brother or sister, it's not faith. So you're doing it all in vain. So maybe if you don't act upon this, like we talked about, then you don't make it into that paradise. And that's the only thing that's left that you want. You want to make it to paradise. But if you don't care for your brother or sister next to you, it's just faith with words. But the Bible is everything about action. To do something you say you will do. It's not about just knowledge and thinking. It's like the example of Jesus. He had empathy, he had compassion for people, he helped people. And that's it all about. That's faith. Faith is not going to the meetings, absorbing some things and go home, or going to the ministry, following those rules. That's not faith. Faith without action is useless. So let me know what you think about this, because I think they're letting their own people down big time, and they had an opportunity to let also other people see around them in the world what kind of community could have been the Jehovah's Witness religion. But instead of that, they just are the people who pat you on the back. Oh, it's coming all right. Keep praying, keep having faith, and then it's just around the corner, just around the corner. They are repeating every time the same steps to have that false hope. That's same as me as, oh, tomorrow will be better, tomorrow will be better, tomorrow will be better. But if you don't believe in it, if you don't act on it, it are just empty words. Thank you guys for watching. Share this video with anyone you feel like that person has to hear this, maybe to wake up, to start the critical thinking, that they are going to research for themselves. It's just about the own sources of Jehovah's Witnesses. It's not my own ideas. I took some scripture from the Bible, from their own Bible, so nobody can say, oh, you made it up or whatever. In my opinion, the governing body is letting you down big time. Do your own research, see for yourself, and we see each other on the next episode.